please, please, please don't hate us. I know that it is freezing cold and raining back there, and we're here in Portugal at the Portimao circuit in the Algarve, and it's not hot, but it's definitely warmer than England. And we've got a blazing sunny day, and we're here for the launch of the new Ducati 1299 Panigale. We've got to ride these bikes. The 1299, there's not been like a massive sort of press build-up to the launch of it. There's been a little bit of information and some lap times out, but there's not been this big kind of drip feed of PR information, which is a bit odd because I guess it is only an update, but the changes they've made are pretty significant. So this morning we got a press presentation from Ducati about the new bike. There's a lot of changes they've made that may not be obvious when you first look at it. It just looks like the 1199, and then you put them next to each other and you see the fairing's different, it's wider, the mirrors are shorter, the screen's taller, a lot of aerodynamic improvements they've made. So the engine's their biggest change, 100cc bigger, more power, more torque. They reckon 15% more torque from 5,000 to 8,000 RPM, which was where the Panigale kind of struggled before, not driving off an apex if you didn't have it singing in the revs. That's our job is now to go out and find out, see if it's any better. Let's go ride it. Just had our first session on the new 1299 Panigale. It's a cracking bike. Any Panigale at a track like Portimao is going to make you smile. This place is nuts. It's up, down, steep crests, blind corners. It's a real handful to get your head round, or a headful to get your hand round, either way. I was a bit nervous of riding on the Panigale. The 1199 was a real brutal bike, like real hard work, always fighting with the handlebars, real peaky engine. This one, it's not a completely different bike. It's still got that edge, that aggressive animal thing of the old one, but the improved electronics package just gives you a little bit more of a chance to hold on to it. Doesn't want to wheelie all the time now. The new anti-wheelie, which is the same one on the Superleggera, that just gives it a little bit more control over the crests. All of a sudden it comes to you, and you can really make the most of the good bits of the Panigale, like the power, obviously in a straight line, but the agility, the lightweight, the way it steers, the good brakes, the engine brake control. The new electronics package is a big improvement with the auto blipper, so you can downshift through the gears without touching the clutch or the throttle, and it doesn't back in, it just and it sorts itself out, and you end up really enjoying all those bits. The other big change is that mid-range power. They claimed 15% from 5 to 8,000, which is always, bench figures are very different to real figures, but on track it is a marked improvement over the old one. You can be really lazy with the gears, short shift everywhere, and it drives out of a turn now. It doesn't bog down like an old 70s two-stroke. This thing actually picks up and goes not from anywhere in the rev range, but in that mid-range where you use it on the road, and when you're just trying to be smooth on track, when you're not trying to grab the thing by the scruff of the neck. They've taken a mad bike and they've made it usable. It's still got that wild edge, and if you get hold of it and wring its neck, it's still a handful and still makes you sweat, but now you can ride it at 80% or 70%, and it's lovely. It's a beautiful thing. They've done an amazing job. So there we have it, another day done, nailed it again. Man, what a bike. Ducati really knocked it out of the park with this one. The old 1199 Panigale was a fantastic bike. It was a very, is adrenalizing a word? Let's say it's a word. An adrenalizing bike to ride. Then the BMW S1000RR came out just before Christmas. Really good bike again. And it was hard to see how the 1199 was going to compete with the new BMW. The sophistication, the spread of power, it was one of those times when you're thinking, the Ducati's fallen behind. Along comes the 1299, It definitely hasn't. Hell no. The 1299 has filled in that gap that the 1199 had in its torque curve. So now you've got the drive off the apex, where before the BMW would gap you. 1299 now, it's not gonna get the same run on it. It really pulls well off the apex, and with all the extra power, the new electronics have actually calmed the bike down overall. You can turn everything off and go batshit crazy if you really want, but the electronics actually help you go quicker, and they keep it under control. It makes everything into a nice smooth ride. When Ducati said they were launching the 1299 Panigale here at Portimao circuit, I'll be honest, I thought they were mental. But then it's worked out for them. It's proven that the new bike really is that good. I'm confident the old one would have kicked my ass from here back to England around this track if I'd have ridden it as hard as I rode the 1299 today. But instead I was just putting in lap after lap after lap, never thinking, oh, I wish the session was over, you know, just riding as hard as I wanted. Everything just seemed smooth and flowing and fluid. The lap times were quick, but it felt like I was riding around at walking pace. You know, everything just gelled so well. And that's a testament to how well the Panigale has improved itself and how much it's come on since the early models. If you are a very lucky person and you can afford a Panigale, I think out of all of the current Supersport 1000s, it's still the most exciting. And if that's what you're looking for, hands down. In terms of actual performance, we're going to have to get them all together and give them a good thrashing to find that out. But at the moment, I'm pumped on the Panigale 1299. The base model, which doesn't have the electronic suspension and all the fancy pants bits of the top model, cost you £16,600, or 16,595, something like that. The S model, which is the one with the electronic suspension, which has got active suspension, like the BMW. It's got the auto blipper, so it's clutchless upshift and downshift on the gears, like the BMW. But the whole system on the Panigale, all the raft of electronics that I can't be bothered to bore you with now, they're easy to use. You can get into them, you can change the settings, everything's very intuitive. And I was chatting to one of the Öhlins guys, and he said they kind of tried to keep it reasonable, not give you so much adjustment that your brain boggles and you need a race technician to set up. You know, it's simple settings. If the bike feels a bit soft, on the active suspension mode, you click the setting that says harder or hardest. If it's too hard, you click the one that says softer or softest. It's idiot proof. The functionality is all there, but just in terms of using it on the dash, anyone can get on with it. There's an incredible amount of technology in these bikes, far too much to go on about on a first ride them, and really far too much to appreciate in one day on track. So we'll visit it in a later episode of Bike World, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty details and all the nerdy stuff at the same time as doing big wheelies and skids, because that's what it's all about.